grief, downing the grief, downing the grief, downing the grief. But then the grief can only drown in so many bottles of alcohol. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Victoria's Reveries. This is a space where we talk about healing, self-care, and living your best freaking life. So I just thought I might come here real quick and share a couple of life-changing tips that no one really teaches you, but these tips are like going to get you so far ahead in life, whether it's in the realm of business or whether it's in the realm of keeping and maintaining good relationships, which of course makes you thrive. I mean, these tips have come in handy for me, and I think that the funniest thing about these things is that nobody teaches you in school. Without further ado, get your cup of your drink. I just had some tea that's now over, and I don't have time to go get some more and also film the video, so I'm just trying to maximize on the time I have, so you have to forgive me for today. And make sure to like, subscribe, and watch till the very end. And like, if you like the video, oh my god. Anyway, the first life-changing tip is 1, knowing how to read a room. Oh my god, we don't know how to read rooms. Like, a lot of people navigate this world, navigate different spaces, not knowing how to read a room. Now, a bonus tip in knowing how to read a room is knowing how to read a room and how to position yourself in that room is a very, 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 very essential skill. It's going to get you ahead, and of course you can't do that if you're not confident or if you don't at least have some level of self-belief. I think it is one of the most transformational skills that you can ever acquire, because it can help you leverage your connections in a way that can be meaningful for yourself and for the people you connect with. A lot of people unfortunately don't know how to read a room, and I think the biggest telltale sign that someone doesn't know how to read a room is 1, verbal diarrhea. It's so embarrassing, and I get such high levels of secondhand embarrassment when I come across someone who has verbal diarrhea and just puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth because they're saying the right thing at the wrong time, or they're just saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. I know a lot of people have the impulse of feeling nervous every time they come across new people, or they're meeting and socializing in an upscale setting that they're not used to, and I feel that it's easy to be nervous in such situations. But please, for the love of God, try and keep quiet if you have nothing to say. The reason why I think it's very important to read a room is I know many people who are well educated, are well positioned in life, however, they don't know how to manage relationships, they don't know how to leverage relationships. And I also know of people, maybe I don't know these people, but I know of people like a few YouTubers here and there who have a very good skill of being in a room, reading it, and positioning themselves without being pushy, without doing this or that, without having to make jumping jacks and do somersaults, but they're impressive and they know how to position themselves as such. That's a very essential skill, no matter what field you work in, no matter what arena of your life you're talking about. It is very essential. It is especially essential in your dating life to know how to read a room, to see if you're compatible with someone, to see if you translate well together and such. Underrated life skill nobody teaches you is community building versus networking. I know that by and large we have all probably heard of networking. Your network is your net worth. I think networking is great, but I think if you want to take it a notch higher, you would be thinking of community building. This is very important if you are a small business. This is very important if you have a channel, like an online community like we have now. This is very important if you are a smaller niche in a business. And the reason why I think I prefer community building to networking is networking always has a vested interest of making sure you can get ahead by doing this and doing that, and for me it doesn't feel authentic. Versus community building is basically when everybody gets to contribute to the community, and everybody also gets to take out and benefit from this community. And that's where I think there's a difference between community building and networking. And by and large, community building will take you up further ahead, because you're not going into it with a mind of benefiting and leveraging and doing this and meeting this person and taking them for coffee. You're just doing it with the purpose of knowing that this is mutually beneficial and that everyone is going to be happy. It's more relaxed and you get to enjoy the process even more. Wow. The third most underrated skill that people need to learn, that nobody will ever sit you down and teach you, is financial literacy. Wow, I am so happy that I learned economics in school and that I had some exposure to how money changes hands. This I briefly touched on in my live video where I was talking about how adulting is a scam. I think that in the climate we are in this world, where things change so rapidly, you must know financial literacy. We don't live in the economy we lived in before, whereby you could have one job and that would be enough to cover all of your needs, and you could go by without needing other streams of income. Tell me, comment down below and affirm my current thinking that one stream of income per household is not enough. It just can't be enough. Even for a one-person household, one stream of income isn't enough. It could be enough to get by, but that's what it can do. And I think, especially if it's a traditional job, one stream of income is not enough, and you have to know how to leverage your skills, your knowledge, and the things that you're good at to create other streams of income. More importantly, financial literacy isn't just about learning how to make money, it's also learning how to use money, invest money. You need to learn financial literacy. You need to be financially literate about how you use banks. You need to be financially literate about actually banking is a scam, but like the whole, do you know that people are lending fake money? Banks are lending fake money, and they've done this for years. Just go learn about fractional reserve banking and you'll have a better idea into what I'm talking about. But financial literacy is paramount. Many people go and make investments hoping that this little circle, this little amount you've saved is going to grow, not knowing there's so many options, much better options for growing your money faster, not at 1% after the whole year. Financial literacy is important. It is not enough to just surrender your money and not know. You have to be involved in the process of your money growing, so that your money can meets with other money, and they can make money babies. That's an analogy I had from a really interesting YouTuber I love. But anyway, I thought the money babies analogy is so cute. But whatever the case may be, you need to know how money changes hands between countries, and between households, and companies within a country, and you need to know how to invest your money wisely. Don't let the time that you're putting in these offices, don't let the time that you are working so hard be for nothing. And you might think that's something I want to do when I earn more. What you earn right now and how you treat your money right now is literally how you're going to treat your higher amounts of money. There's not going to be a difference. We never change our habits when it comes to spending and when it comes to investing or not investing, because the needs will always compound. The things and the outlets and will always probably more than the inflows, especially if you have one stream of income. So you need to be very, very wise about how you deal with your money. Guys, I don't want you to be caught up. I don't want to get caught up. I don't want you to get caught up. You must be very intentional about this. The fourth thing that is a very essential life skill that nobody teaches is self-awareness. Oh my god, my dear friends, please sit down with yourself and have conversations with yourself. You know how they say, I had to pull myself to the side and talk to myself? You need to do that often. You need to have a layer in your mind of constant introspection regarding the major things of life, and even sometimes what seem to be the minor things of life, like the triggers you don't understand. I can't tell you how sad it is to watch people who have no levels of self-awareness suffer because of that. You lack relationship skills. You don't know how to treat people well. you treat people very horribly, or you sit down and you don't know why somehow something you said just upset everyone, you lack self-awareness. You lack self-awareness. And if that's you, I'm so sorry. I know it might be a hard pill to swallow, but you need to have self-awareness. And for some people, it's so bad, they have no breaks, especially regarding the effect on how they are received by other people. It is horrible. I know that I come here and by and large my message is I don't care what people think if I am good. Now that doesn't mean that I am ignorant or that I am stupid and that I am foolish, and that if a situation occurs where I am required to introspect and to have self-awareness regarding what I'm doing and saying and thinking, that doesn't mean I don't care about that. Like, you guys, let's be balanced here. You have to have self-awareness if you want your relationships to thrive. You could be the worst communicator on this earth and not know, and nobody will sit you down to teach you. This is communications 101. Nobody will ever sit you down. You could be the most defensive person in this on this earth, a horrible person to interact with, and you don't know. You just think that's just how you are. Guys, if we are trying to level up into nonsensical, out of this world levels of happiness, into a life that is completely fulfilled, you can't do that by rubbing people off the wrong way each and every time. You have to be self-aware, you have to be honest with yourself about your shortcomings, and you have to be willing to work on them and be consistent with that. You just can't be walking around without self-awareness. The fifth skill that I think is thoroughly important, but people just won't sit you down to teach you, is the skill of vetting. Vetting. I think the first time I heard this term was when it was maybe election time and some people are being vetted for certain positions. Look, guys, vetting is so important. It's what you need to do in the dating field when you're dating. It's what you need to do when you're meeting people who you want to form business partnerships with. It's what you need to do when you are meeting people you want to be friends with and associate long term with. Vetting is so highly important, and if you don't know how to sit down and weigh the pros and cons of something, you'll always be making decisions out of chance. You'll always be making decisions just for the sake of it. If something goes wrong, you won't be able to go back because you don't have a system at all, or say, this is what I need, this is what I do, this is what I need. You will always just have disastrous results and no reason for it. And worse, no remedy for it, because you didn't have a system that you can actually cure and say, next time I won't do this time I'll do this. Vetting is so important. Another skill I think is very important is the skill of introspection. It's kind of similar to self-awareness in a sense, but it's more so sitting down with yourself and your thoughts. Sitting down with the pain you have, if you have pain, likely do as a human being at some point. Sitting down with your burdening thoughts, sitting down with your painful thoughts, sitting down with your uncomfortable thoughts, the uncomfortable truths in your life. You need to feel the things, you need to release those things, and you need to have a plan to move on from those things. If it's a matter of, let's say, grief, you can't down bottles. Keep downing the grief, but then the grief can only drown in so many bottles of alcohol. You need to sit down with yourself. If you're in that kind of position, there's a high likelihood that you are numbing a lot of things using negative coping mechanisms. Could be food, could be alcohol, could be sexual intercourse, could be money and the addiction to work. Now, sidebar, let's talk about the addiction to work and how there are people out here who work tirelessly, not out of passion, but out of addiction, because they want to get so tired that they can't hear the negative thoughts. They can't hear that discomfort of the trauma seeping through and telling you something about yourself. We need to step into being able to introspect. If you want to live an amazing life, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. That's it for now. I know that there are more than 5. I think I've given about 7. I would like to do a second installment of this kind of video about life skills that nobody sits you down to teach you, but that I've learned along the way and that I think are a good thing for one to immerse themselves into if you want to create a great life. So as always, thank you so much for your time. Make sure to watch all the way to the end, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share with a few friends that you care about. Love you so much, and see you next time. Bye.